Good morning, Tamina Khan is here in TKMaths S1. In today's video, which is video number 3 on hypothesis testing, we will continue with critical region. So in the last video, we saw that when we calculated the probability at the test value 2, we got 5.99%, which is greater than 5%. It means the value is not falling in the critical region. So we will further study in detail. And by the way, this on the basis of what we do selected on the basis of alternative hypothesis. So alternative hypothesis was talking about less than. And why do we use equal to symbol also? Because 2 cars out of 18 cars were red, right? So now just 1 second, meanwhile you can read this. Okay, so what you have read, that null hypothesis would be rejected if the observed value fall within the critical region. And critical region is always considered as the region which is less than the significance level. So if I try to explain to you with the help of this diagram here, because in this question it was said at 5% significance level. So this dotted line is representing, for example, the left hand side area is representing 5% till here, right? Now this number, the test value 2, is greater than 5%. It means it is somewhere here. Only then the area on the left hand side will be more than 5%, right? From here it will be more than 5%. And why we are talking about left hand side area? Because of alternative hypothesis, we are talking about less. Okay, this is called one tail lower tail test. So this value is called critical value. In case of the hypothesis testing for binomial population and Poisson, your test value, the least value which falls within the critical region, is considered as a critical value. And this whole area is called region, right? So many values can come here. So I can say at this point, x less than equals to 2 is not a critical value. But just to show here the calculation at x less than equals to 1, the probability is coming 1.41%, which is less than 5%. It means this is your critical value, and this whole region, which is 1.41%, is called as a critical region, right? So in case of discrete data, which is for Poisson and binomial, you will have a value. The value which falls within the critical region will be considered as a critical value. So now, this type 1 error I will explain to you a little later, but at this point you can understand one thing. When the value falls within the critical region, which is less than 5%, which is a significance level, then you reject H0. And whenever the H0 is rejected, it is called type 1 error is made. We will see in detail, right? So in this case, how it is written, that is very important. You see, like this, because what we were writing here when we were calculating the probability, at the test value we will calculating the probability, and if it is less than the significance level, then we say it is, if it is less than, then we will reject H0, right? So you understood this part. Now what happened in the two-tail test, that is very important to understand. Two-tail test is little different. What do? The significance level which is given to you, you divide it into two parts. In this question, the significance level was 5%. So half of this is 2.5%. So that's why on either side, equally region, like this region and this region is equal, 2.5% probability. You have to find out what are these values which are falling within the region. So this is the largest value and this is the least value. Why I'm saying largest? Because the rest of the values are less than this. And here it is called the least, right? But very important thing where student always confuses it. See here how it is written, this line. Probability of x less than equals to C1 or probability of x greater than equals to C2. C1 and C2 are these values which are falling within the critical region. But what is written here? Less than 25%. And you understand why this is always less. It has nothing to do with what inequality symbol you're using here. Point here is, like I gave you an example of exam, if anybody obtained less than 25% will fail the exam. So it is always less than the critical region which is set. And right now the critical region is 25%, right? And depending on this sign, this depends on the alternative hypothesis. As you will go to this side, the area of the right hand side in this case will be less than 2.5%. And here in the lower tail, if you come to this side, this area is less than 2.5%. I hope you are understanding, because this is the most important line where students usually make mistake. So now let's see this question in detail. Okay, how do we solve it? So first thing is you have to explain the variable. Okay, what is your x representing? After that you have to explain null and alternative hypothesis based on the distribution you have. In this case it is proportion, binomial. Then third thing was, we start with the assumed population is true. So that's why you write if h naught is true, then you will write the parameter here. Then you write the test value, because on the basis of test value you perform your test probability, right? So out of 18 cars, 2 cars were red. And why we are saying lower tail test? Because of this. If it was a greater symbol, I would say upper tail test. Significance level is given to you. If 2 lies in the critical region, which means this, then you will reject H naught. Right? I should write here, using a one tail test at 5% significance level, if 2 lies in the critical region less than 5%, then reject H naught. I should explain it. I think I missed it, because in rejection criteria you always explain. So right now when the percentage came 5.99, which is not less than 5%, so what do we say? We say do not reject H naught. Let me write here, do not reject H naught. And then you have to comment in context of the scenario. So you will also say there is not enough evidence at the 5%